Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on the Elseworlds crossover. So some stuff on The Flash Season 5, Arrow Season 7, and of course Supergirl Season 4. So the crossover has been filming for the past 5 weeks roughly, give or take a couple of days. But the crossover is now in its last week of filming. I think they would only have a couple of days left of it, so I'm sure the actors and everyone involved are pretty relieved because the crossover is a long and just draining period. So 6 long weeks are finally coming to an end, might I say. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Stephen Amell did say on one of his live streams on Facebook that they would actually be filming some of this Elseworlds crossover for this season in a city in the USA. So generally, all the shows and in the past, all the crossovers have been filmed in Vancouver, apart from, I guess, the Flash Supergirl crossover from, Supergirl Season 1, but technically Supergirl was filming in Los Angeles and wasn't really part of the Arrowverse at that time, so I don't know if that really counts. But yeah, apart from that, all of them are filmed in Vancouver all the time, with Vancouver obviously being in Canada. Now, with this other city outside of Vancouver, being in America, there was a lot of debate on where this would be. One of the top picks was Seattle. A lot of people were saying Seattle because it's just it's fairly close to Vancouver, I guess. And the top choice that I actually gave was that they would film in Los Angeles because I thought they would just film in the Warner Brothers lot. There's a lot of different sets there that they could go and film in. And I assumed that the reason that they would be choosing another city is so they could film stuff for Gotham City there, because they can't really just keep using Vancouver for multiple cities. They already use it for National City, Star City, and Central City. And Gotham sort of needs to look very original. It needs to look very unique, so they had to find somewhere else to shoot the Gotham scenes for this crossover. I don't think there's going to be too many, but they still had to find a different location for these scenes. So Los Angeles just seemed like the most logical choice because basically most of the actors live there, but it has actually turned out that the US city that they will be filming in for this crossover is Chicago. And for those playing at home, you would notice that they've left shooting in this other city right to the very end, just so it's easier. It'd be weird to shoot in the different city, midway through the crossover, just leave it right to the end. I think it makes a lot more sense there, so that's why they're shooting there right now. Now, as I said, the different city is so they can portray Gotham City and make it look much different than what we're used to on the Arrowverse. But the most interesting thing about them filming in Chicago is that is actually where they filmed most, or many parts at least, of not only Batman Begins, but also The Dark Knight. So both of those movies were by Christopher Nolan in the Dark Knight trilogy. I think Dark Knight Rises was filmed elsewhere. I don't think it was filmed in Chicago. I think it was filmed elsewhere. But Batman Begins and The Dark Knight filmed a lot of different scenes in Chicago. So that just makes it extra cool that they're going back there. So we might see some familiar areas that we saw in the Dark Knight trilogy, or at least the first 2 entries in the Dark Knight trilogy. Now, Mark Guggenheim, who is a consulting producer on Arrow for this season, he's also writing the Arrow episode for the crossover, did post 2 photos on social media, on Twitter, which actually alerted us that they were filming in Chicago. Now, the first one seems to be their version of Wayne Tower and what it will look like. Now, this building here is not the one from Batman Begins or The Dark Knight. This isn't the building they used for Wayne Tower in those movies. The building used as Wayne Tower in Batman Begins was the Chicago Board of Trade building, and the building used in The Dark Knight was the Richard J. Daley Center. Now, the building that they're using in the Elseworlds crossover for Wayne Tower is the Carbide and Carbon building in Chicago. So if you live in Chicago or have been there, I'm sure you would know of this building or even walk past it on a daily basis. And they were filming literally adjacent to it in an alley, which was pretty interesting. So I don't know if it's a residential building or a work building or something like that. But yeah, the Carbide and Carbon building in Chicago is now Wayne Tower in the Elseworlds crossover. And to be honest, I think it looks like a good enough building to be a Wayne Tower. To be honest, Wayne Tower in Batman Begins looked really cool. But Wayne Tower in The Dark Knight, just didn't feel that cool. It didn't feel that Gotham. It sort of felt like they were taking the Gotham away from Wayne Tower. But then again, we all know what happened in Batman Begins, so it makes sense that they had a new tower there. Spoiler alert, it blows up. But the second photo that Mark Guggenheim posted is of that alley that I was referring to earlier that is adjacent to the Carbide and Carbon building. And we do see a GCPD, or Gotham City Police Department officer here with the jacket. With there also, even though there's people in the way, a GCPD car behind all of them. You might be able to see the outline, even maybe the top of the lights and stuff. But even though that car in this picture is blocked off, here is a proper look at a GCPD squad car. Is that the correct term? Anyway, police car, whatever you want to call it. And it is sleek and black as you would expect in Gotham. I think it looks really cool. And, basic but really cool and something you would expect in Gotham City. Now, from the top of my head, I don't know if these are from the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, it would make sense if maybe these props were just lying around in Chicago that they would reuse them. I don't know. If anyone wants to let me know in the comment section down below, feel free to. We did get another shot in that alley of a van with like Gotham City license plates on it with SRT plastered on the top and the side. Now, SRT could stand for a couple of things, maybe like Strategic Response Team, or even like Special Response Team, or even like Special Reaction Team, or something like that. Who cares? It's SRT. I don't think it's going to be too important to the story, but I just thought I'd give the different options as to what it could be. Now, Stephen Amell did post 2 different photos on Twitter as well. Mark Guggenheim posted 2 photos, so Stephen Amell was like, yep, I'll match it. I'll post 2 as well. So the first is of him and Grant Gustin, who of course plays Barry Allen on The Flash. Now, once again, they are dressed up as though him and Grant are playing each other's characters. So, Grant's playing Oliver Queen rather than Barry Allen, and Stephen will be playing Barry Allen rather than Oliver Queen. Now, we did get a shot of these two, maybe in the exact same clothes in Arkham Asylum, or what looked like to be Arkham Asylum. So this scene could be like literally straight after or right before it. But yeah, it does seem like they're wearing what like Barry Allen would, like Stephen's wearing what Barry Allen would wear on The Flash, and Grant might say is wearing what Oliver Queen would normally wear on Arrow when he's not in prison and not dressed up as Green Arrow. So, the Elseworlds thing still is a bit confusing in regards to the change of personas because as we know, like Grant Gustin's going to be playing Green Arrow and Stephen Amell's going to be playing The Flash in different parts in this crossover. So it is confusing in regards to how that's all going to work. Are they just swapping bodies? Are they swapping abilities? Or is it just like another universe or another dimension where, Stephen Amell is actually Barry Allen, might I say, and Grant Gustin is actually Oliver Queen? It's still a bit confusing. We'll have to wait and see, though. And the second photo that Stephen posted was a picture of him and Colin Donnell, who of course played Tommy Merlin on Arrow. And of course, he was in last year's crossover for a bit of a cameo in the Crisis on Earth X storyline. And to quickly put out any fires of rumors and stuff like that, he is most likely not in the crossover. Colin is on Chicago Med. That's a show on TV, and as you'd expect, it's called Chicago Med, so it films in Chicago. So I'm guessing Stephen just went like, yo, I'm in Chicago, we're filming, and when he was off Chicago Med, Colin came over and just said, hey, what's going on? So I wouldn't expect too much from this. Who knows, they might chuck a cameo of him in the crossover. We might see him walk in the background or something like that. Who knows what they could do, but don't expect too much from this photo. I don't think it really means too much. But an important thing to note, which is pretty obvious in this photo, Stephen is the Flash in this image here, so that matches up with what I was saying about how he's dressed up similar to Barry Allen. So while they're in Gotham, it seems like Stephen will have super speed. But in regards to some of these photos, they are coming from Chicago Filming on Twitter. I will leave the link to their Twitter account in the description down below. If you are interested in set photos, they're probably the hot spot to go to for the next couple of days to a week, because they are going to be filming in Chicago, you would think, for the next couple of days. And they're getting all the photos and posting them, or at least a decent amount of them. So if you're interested in set photos and want to see them first, definitely head over to their Twitter account. We'll leave it linked in the description down below. But there's a couple of topics to come from this. I guess the big one that I saw a lot of people going on about, because Wayne Tower is in the crossover, is whether Bruce Wayne will be in the crossover, and possibly even Batman. Now, I would rule Batman out completely, but there's still like a 1% chance, I guess, that it could be in there. Bruce Wayne, however, there is a chance. I wouldn't put money on it, but there is a chance. Like, who knows? They could even have like Colin Donnell play Bruce Wayne if they really wanted to, if it was like a 10-second cameo. But I really, really wouldn't be expecting Bruce Wayne to show up. Obviously, Wayne Tower is there, and you'd think he's in charge of it. But I don't know. I think the chances of that are pretty slim. Like, not 1% chance slim. Maybe like we'll give Batman showing up maybe like a 4.2% chance of happening. But it's very, very, very unlikely. But I guess another thing to come from this is the fact that they're filming in Chicago. Will Batwoman film in Chicago? So if they're going to set up what certain things look like in Gotham, in whatever universe this is, will they continue that on with the Batwoman show? So does that mean like Batwoman's going to start filming in Chicago when it eventually goes to a series order? So Batwoman's meant to sort of come out, next year, like around the time the show's premiere this year. Well, at least that's what they're planning to. So you never know. Chicago could be the filming location for Batwoman going forward. As I said, Gotham needs to look different, and that's why they've gone from Vancouver to Chicago to make it look different. So if maybe Batwoman doesn't film in Chicago, it could film in like Atlanta or something like that. But Chicago, to a lot of people, is like your perfect Gotham on film, and that's why like so many people like the layout of like the Dark Knight trilogy, or at least the first two entries in regards to the layout of that city and Gotham and stuff like that. So I don't know if people really like the look of Gotham in this crossover. Chicago might be a necessity for them in regards to Batwoman filming, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't know how expensive it is to film in Chicago compared to Vancouver or like a town like Atlanta or something, or even maybe like Toronto. They could film in Toronto. That'd be a pretty good option because that's where Titans films, and you know there's some Gotham and stuff there. So we'll have to wait and see, but it is an option. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this? Are you excited that the crossover is filming in Chicago? Personally, I think it's cool for a guy that covers these shows, you know, quite a lot. It is cool to see them move out of Vancouver for a bit and just film somewhere else, and somewhere like Chicago where it does have history as a location for Gotham. I just think it's a really cool thing. So yeah, just let me know all of your opinions in the comment section down below around all of this. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.